Good morning, afternoon, evening, guys. Emergency tier list here. Talking about World of Warcraft. If you're interested in this, we're going to be talking about some of the day one announcements just announced, revealed for the new expansion coming out sometime. I don't know when it's coming out. But wow, Dragonflight. Let's go ahead and rank what they've announced so far. Alright guys, here we are on the tier list. And with this tier list, I tried to cover as much stuff as possible. There's some huge stuff. And there's some little minor stuff that's still going to be fun to talk about for sure. Our tier list here ranging from mind-blowing down to will hurt the game. When I say mind-blowing, can't wait, obviously that is a good thing. Cool addition and neat, those are kind of like, kind of in the middle there, whatever. And then these bottom two will be things that we're not very excited about. Now, I'm just going to go in whatever order these uploaded in, and I'll talk about them as they go. I highly recommend you watch the reveal video for this. It's rather long. Or you can read it. I'll link those in the description down below. Their initial reveal, which happened today at 9 a.m. Pacific, I believe, and then their blog post about it as well. I'll link those down below. Now, first of all, on our tier list, whatever order I put this in, we have the return of the Tuskar. That's pretty cool. I like the Tuskar. Now, no, you cannot play as a Tuskar, which I know some people wanted at some point. I'm sure people are going to be asking for that one again. Maybe with allied races, maybe, now that we're getting some updated models and stuff. But they have Tuskar men, women, and children, which is pretty cool. I think that's neat that we're going to see a return of the Tuskar. We also have Knolls coming back as well. The race that Hogger is. We see the regular Knolls and Snow Knolls, or Snolls, I guess. I don't think that's an official name for it. I think that's just a joke they made, but so we have Knolls coming back, and these races will be primarily around one of the zones. I believe this was the Waking Shore that these guys are around. Actually, it might be the Azure Span. I don't know. They're in one of the zones. And it's neat. It's neat to see some of these old races come back, get updated models, get updated stuff. Next up, we are talking about the race that we can actually play, and that is the Dracnid. Or Drakid. Okay, I gotta get this name right. One sec. Drakthir. I'm an idiot. It is Drakthir. So them. Yeah, you can play as dragons now. Absolutely mind-blowing. Never thought they would actually allow us to do that. So that's pretty crazy. And then along with playing as a Drakthir, you have this dragon form. You have a human form. The customization for this stuff is absolutely awesome. You can customize both the regular form and the draconic form, just like you can with the Worgen. And it is a hero class, just like Demon Hunters and Death Knights, so you will be able to pick your faction that you will want to be, either Alliance or Horde. On top of that, the only class that they can play is Evoker, which will be a new class. It will be a ranged DPS class or a healing class. So you have two options there, just like the Demon Hunter. And these dragons are capable of utilizing all the magics, they said, as the ranged DPS. This is the first time, I don't know if they mentioned this in the video, but I've thought about this before. This is the first time they've ever added a new ranged DPS class. They've never, ever added a new ranged DPS class. All the ranged classes in the game, Hunter, Mage, and Warlock, and Priest, were all in the game when it started. So all the new classes that we've gotten over the years, Death Knight, Monk, Demon Hunter, they have all been melee classes. Even if they did have a healing component, they were always a melee class. So can't wait to try out a new class, and no other race can be this class except the Drakthir. So it's pretty cool. They also mentioned something called empowering spells. They kind of gloss over this kind of quickly, and basically this would be a concept that when you hold down the button for a spell, it's going to charge up, maybe hit more enemies, maybe just be stronger, I don't know. But that's very interesting. We're used to in World of Warcraft just kind of spamming our rotation buttons, just hitting 1, 2, 3 as fast as you possibly can. Now you're going to be incentivized with some spells to hold it down, and that'll be interesting. Depending on how that goes with the Evoker, I'm assuming they will move that also towards some other classes. So that's pretty cool. I'd say that's going to be pretty game changing if it becomes widespread. I think that's everything about the race itself. Next up, we have the Centaur. They mentioned in it that the Centaur are going to be coming back, specifically in one of the new zones, the Waking Shore, I believe. And the no, not the Waking Shore. They're going to be the plains, right? Centaur plains. That makes sense. Centaur coming back. They're getting a lot of updates. We're getting into really like Centaur culture. Personally, I think that's a lot cooler than Tuskars and Knolls, so I'm going to put that in Cool Edition. I'm excited to see some Centaur. I guess these Centaur have been battling the green Dragonflight for a long, long time, so they're going to be pretty powerful. That'll be nice to see. Back to basics. I can't wait for just this whole mantra that they talked about throughout the thing where, you know, every expansion we get something new. We get Azurite gear, we get, why can't I think of anything else? Covenants, obviously. We get Valor, Justice points. That's taking you back, Justice points. There's like a new system every time, right? And now they're talking about going back to basics and updating some of the basics of World of Warcraft, along with adding this new zone and stuff. So I just really like that concept, that fundamentals, and we'll get to some examples of that here in a minute. I'm really excited for this concept. Taking a look at the culture of the Centaur, I actually have 2 pictures for them. Yeah, I actually should have only had one of those. UI upgrades. I cannot wait to see an upgraded UI. They even teased that add-ons may be in the game in terms of an in-game resource for that. They clearly said add-ons will not be going away. You will still be able to use the add-ons you want, but they are updating the base UI and they will add a lot more customization options. So I can't wait for that. It's been far, far too long. 18 years, they said, and that is correct, since 2004. 18 years since we've had an update like this, so that's awesome. I believe this is a picture of the capital city, so we'll wait to get to that. We have talents being updated as well. This is going to be absolutely game-changing. Going to be super, super fun to be able to have talent trees back again. The way they described it is you'll actually have 2 trees, one for your class and one for your spec, and you will actually be able to save those pre-builds, and you can have more than one, and presumably you can change them at will. So actually, I think that's going to be pretty mind-blowing if they actually allow us to do that. If they make it so that you have to have a regent to change it, or that you have to go back to a specific place in the world, that's going to be pretty obnoxious. People will be upset. If they give us the freedom on talents to do what we want with them, I think the community will do some really cool things, and I think you can have a lot of customization. Not everybody will be running perhaps specifically the same thing. Should we talk about the zones? Let's talk about the zones, then we'll talk about a couple of the animals. We have 4 new zones here. Starting with the Waking Shore, they describe this as a very elemental waking up area, lava, dragons. Obviously, dragons are everywhere. Primarily the red and the black Dragonflight will be here in the Waking Shore, they said. I think it's cool. It's going to be definitely a neat place to start capturing all those ideas about just about the new expansion, right? The next one is the Plains, and I cut off the name of it, but I believe it's the Ocean Aran Plains, which is named after a wild god. These are going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to be neat. From what they were talking about, it reminds me of Nagrand and stuff like that. It's hard to see. Until you see more of these zones, it's really hard to be critical of them, in my opinion. The Azure Span looked really cool. They said it's one of the largest zones they've done to date. Very vertical in the height and everything, and there is a tundra there. I actually am not a huge fan of a lot of the tundra zones in the world. I know some people love like Borean Tundra, Grizzly Hills. I actually do like Winter Spring, but Azure Span sounds cool, but I definitely want to see more of it. It's giving me some High Mountain vibes, and I didn't really care for High Mountain. And that might be an unpopular opinion, but it's just still going to be neat. New zones are neat. Thaldraxxus is the last new zone. I think this one's going to be a really, really cool zone. By the way, Azure Span, this is going to be blue Dragonflight, and the plains are going to be green. Thaldraxxus, they talked about the bronze Dragonflight primarily there, but also that is the seat of power for the dragons. It's going to be the last zone we level in, so that's going to be pretty cool. You have a lot of draconic architecture there, which will be pretty nice to see. You also have a capital city, which I forget the name of, but it's nice to have a capital city again. Been a while. Well, I guess we have Oribos and Shadowlands, but you're still incentivized to go back to the your home ones, right? Because there's no auction house there. So they actually did say there will be an auction house in the city. So that'll be the first time in a while, right? We didn't have one in Oribos. Battle for Azeroth didn't have an auction house. Unless you were an engineer, you had one in all of these. Dalaran didn't have one. Didn't have one in Warlords. Now I want to go back and rewatch it. I could have swore they said there will be an auction house. That's game-changing if there is, because you'll actually have both factions hanging out in the same place again. There's no incentive to hang out in Oribos right now if you don't have to. I mean, sometimes it's easy to, but for example, with my bank character, I'm in Orgrimmar. right? I'm not in the capital city. And I might not be in Dragonflight either. It depends on how easy it is to get low levels there, but that concept that everybody can be in one place, it is cool and is something that hasn't really successfully been done lately, in my opinion. They also showed Tearhold, or some concept art for Tearhold. I'm going to go ahead and put this in neat. Tearhold, it sounded like it's in the capital city, and this is the Temple of Tyr, the Titan Watcher who built a lot of this area of the Dragon Isles. And he is shown in the reveal cinematic. He has been destroyed, but he has a lot of history and lore surrounding him, so it'll be cool to get into that. Not sure if this is going to be a raid or if it's just a part of the city, but the architecture looks cool. Looks like something different. One more talent revamp that they talked about, or excuse me, not talent. One more back to basics revamp they talked about is professions. I can't wait for that. Professions for a long time have been, they've made small incremental updates and changes and fixes over the years, but I think going back to basics and just really starting from the ground up with professions is going to be super cool. Specifically, they mentioned a work order system, which I assume is integrated with the auction house, where you can actually post your mats, your materials on the auction house with a commission price on there, and somebody can go and complete that order for you, and it'll automatically send you the item, and it'll give them the money, give them the commission that you asked for. So depending on how much you're willing to pay, instead of spamming trade chat, we can be using the work order system, and then trade chat can be for some more, actual trading happening. I got 3 stacks of fish. I'll trade you for a stack of herbs or something. I don't know. Trade chat, yeah, maybe will be a little less popular now. I actually am pretty mind blown about that they would actually add the work order system. That sounds really cool. But I'm also a little hesitant and scared that they might mess up certain things about professions that I do like. So we'll put it in can't wait. Next up we have, and also with the professions, they added some profession cosmetic gear that you can wear if you really want to be that like master crafter. Go around, wear that stuff. It's honestly just neat, right? Even if I am mining and stuff, my mining characters, my farming characters, maybe I'll wear this stuff, but on my regular characters, I don't want to have to wear a helmet that makes me look like a spelunker just to get like increased mining speed. Like, that's annoying to me. I don't know. Let's see. We have the Jarden. I'm not going to look this one up. These are a race of half giants, elemental giants, that apparently have just been warring with the dragons for many, many years. So this is a new race, and a new race of enemies. They utilize magma energy and power to fight and stuff, and they look pretty strong. It's nice to see something that could really rival the dragons in power in terms of just a one-on-one fight. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that, and kind of if they are the main villain. Obviously, we don't know who the main villain of this expansion is yet, and we might not for a little bit. So I think this is a cool addition. Excited to see where they go with it. They also added dragon riding. Now, this specifically is not flying. This is dragon riding. Presumably, you will not be able to fly it like normal in the Dragon Isles. That might be just an assumption by me, though. But yeah, dragon flying or dragon riding, you'll be able to actually utilize physics and gravity and soar and spin and go down and speed up and do stuff like that. I think that's going to be pretty game-changing. If this works out, I could see them adding this to the entire world and adding more mounts to the system. And that would be a way, I think, to update old mounts and make them really mean something, right? Because they keep adding mounts, right? We're going to have 1,000 mounts soon. So instead of adding new mounts, what they could do is they can just update old ones and add, dragon riding to them over time, perhaps. I think this is going to be pretty game-changing. My fear is that it's not going to be very good. It's going to be clunky. The controls are going to suck for it. We'll see. As with everything, it'll be very interesting to see, if anything, what they cut on here. Because, that happens. With dragon riding, you can fully customize your dragon. First time in World of Warcraft that you could have a custom mount. So you will be able to customize your dragon with different body parts. That sounds weird. But presumably you'll find different artifacts and stuff around Dragon Isles, which will give you more customization options. And those do include armor, those do include spikes, they include the color of the dragon, of course. Even, I believe, the type of dragon. We saw some that looked more like pterosaurs. We saw some that looked like... I think we saw some that looked like proto-drakes. This one in this picture is more of a regular traditional drake. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that you could add that. I'm just going to put that with the dragon riding because it is kind of an aspect of that. You won't be able to just modify, your regular mount, and at least not at this point. And then finally we have ducks. Ducks are finally being added to World of Warcraft in the 18, 20 years the game has been out. We have never had ducks in the game, and they are here. The technology is finally here. They have added ducks, and I am worried. This might end up being the villain of the expansion. We don't know. I'm going to say ducks will hurt the game. Far too powerful for the World of Warcraft. We all just need to hope that they don't break the game. Little joke there at the end, guys, but with that said, this is all of the new stuff that I could find coming in WoW Dragonflight. Let me know in the comment section if I missed anything or what you are excited for. I will probably have to update this as we go, but day 1, April 19th, this is what we got. WoW Dragonflight coming soon. What do you think? Let me know. With all that said, guys, thank you for watching. This has been the guy who makes random tier lists. I'm signing off.